what you're waiting for. I think we're ready to rock.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode with Grindle Garage. We had a really good time last episode at Pro-Am round 2, and now we are getting ready for round 3, which is going to be at our home track in OSW. It's going to be on the oval, so it's probably going to be similar to the FD layout that you've seen in the past up on the bank. So it's going to be high speed, fast entry, and it's going to involve some higher horsepower, so it should be a little different for some of the cars who have been participating in the Pro-Am series. We are geared for it now, so we should perform pretty well with the Corvette, which I'm actually working on some stuff right now. We got a new dash that I've been working on, and it is from HGK. Shout out to Drift HQ. They are down the street from me. So I actually just went to Drift HQ and picked it up from them, and I just finished clear coating it and cutting it up. This is not what it normally looks like. Normally it does have just a blanked out carbon here and carbon here, which I've cut out. This side normally has just carbon to blank out, but we are running a factory ECU, so I wanted to keep all of the dash buttons on this side. And factory cluster, I needed my buttons here, so I cut that out, got that to fit. Start button, this one was a little tricky, but kind of important. So what I did here, you'll see the edges are all basically lined with this, it's epoxy, so it's a 2-part mix. It's very strong. It actually welds together essentially plastic, but instead of doing a plastic welder, it binds to fiber really well. So fiber to plastic, this is like, it's one piece now. This is very, very strong. None of this is gonna have any sort of issues or come off. It's not the cleanest, but it's a drift car, and I wanted it to be secured as good as possible. Also got the rear all sealed up as well, so that both sides are nice and secure. This thing is super light. I mean, this thing weighs probably 10 pounds now. Factory dash is probably 30, 40 pounds maybe. So lots of weight savings there. If I were running an aftermarket ECU, like a Holley or something, like ECU, any of those, I would have just, cut out my centerpiece for all my buttons and just run my digital dash. But I wanted to keep my radio and my AC. So that's why I did what I did here. This whole piece cuts out of the factory dash. This is actually one piece on the factory dash, which is why I kind of weld or epoxied this onto there after measuring it and cutting it. But now I can install the dash. It actually gives me more secure mounting points because the carbon dash doesn't really have any mounting points. And then I can just pop that on. That will cover up the epoxy once it's down all the way. I'll have my factory AC here, and I'll have my double din radio as well. So it'll actually look pretty good. I also had to replace the starter. We had a ride-along event that was a lot of fun. It was a fundraiser at OSW. Big Dog Ranch Rescue was the benefit of the fundraiser. So every ride-along that someone purchased a ticket for was $10 towards Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And we did 40 ride-alongs that day, which is a lot, especially at OSW when you have a long line of people. It was a lot of fun. Went through a decent amount of tires, but also raised a decent amount of money for dog rescue, which is near and dear to my heart. So thank you all for coming out and supporting that. I did get a bunch of videos of people riding along, so I might post some clips of that. It was a good time. Car ran really well. I did throw a belt at one point, which I already had replaced on the track. We got back out there. And then I also had issues with my starter, where my starter was actually getting stuck. And here's the old one. And I'm not really sure what was going on because the gears seemed fine. So I don't know if it was just the solenoid going bad, which isn't uncommon on these things. They get heat soaked. The starter mounts right next to the headers under the car. So if the solenoid gets too heat soaked and it just won't turn off, it'll just keep going and going and going and going on the car. Also replaced the taillights. We lost the taillight in, what was it? I think it was Catch My Drift. No, actually, I think I fully lost it. Catch My Drift series, we lost the taillight. It kind of broke, but I put it back together. And then at Pro-Am, finally lost it completely. So decided to get clear ones instead, which I think look really cool. Don't mind all the dirt. I haven't been able to clean it yet, but adds a new look to the car. So what we're gonna be doing is really just get the dash back in the car, and I've got some new speakers that are gonna go in as well. I wasn't sure whether I was going to completely delete the radio and take out the speakers for weight savings, but ultimately decided that I like my music. This car is a comp car, but the 20 pounds that the speakers are gonna save wasn't really worth giving up all of that. So I decided to just upgrade the speakers instead, go the opposite direction with it, keep my radio, keep my AC, give the car a little bit of streetability. So that's what I'm doing. Gonna put the dash back in. I got a few more holes to cut in the dash because there's a speaker that sits on the front, right here somewhere. So I gotta figure out a way to mount the speaker there, and then maybe cut some holes for the defrost. And then we're gonna get it aligned. And then once we get it aligned, we'll have a couple days to get some tires changed out. And then it's time for Pro-Am at OSW round 3. So let's get to it. Everyone's starting to get the practice runs in. We did 2 practice runs so far. The first one was, I threw way too much angle. The second one felt pretty good, so just gotta keep practicing before qualifying and just get the car dialed in, but everything's feeling good. So now, having symptoms of a bad alternator. My voltage is dropping, spiking up and down. The AC isn't working anymore. The belt is on there, everything's tight, all the wires are good, battery terminals are loose, so that tells me the alternator's just shot. So they are running out and getting a new alternator, and we're gonna start taking this one.
Dude, am I on the Famous Grindle Garage YouTube channel right
Famous
now?
Grindle Garage YouTube. Why don't you tell me what's going on with your car, actually?
Dude, I don't even know, honestly.
Well, you were changing the gearing, but I don't think the gears fit up there.
Yeah, changing the gearing around, and then it's kind of on like 7 cylinders.
Because those are, I don't think those are gears. Those are plugs.
Are trying to diagnose, figure out what's going on, but she's definitely limping around for some reason, so.
Well, Pops will get it taken care of. Pops always gets
Oh,
it taken
dude,
care of.
this dude been getting shit taken care of since 1962.
I need an air filter that big.
She got some vacuum for it. She sucks.
Well, what do you qualify?
24. So we got some time.
You got some time.
We got some time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go
Here,
get in
that's
line.
like 8 hours. So no disrespect.
Yeah. They told me to go get in line. I'm 9th, and they told me, they said, you better get in line. I was the only guy in line last round. I was sitting there for like 10 minutes in line ready to go.
Yeah. You're like, hell no.
Is it recording?
So we have to line up. I can't see shit out of it, but I have a mirror now.
What?
Look.
Oh. Cool, I guess. I'm a handbrake hopper.
Why are you a hater?
Gifted.
Whose hat is that?
Mine. Gifted hater.
Wait out. I'll give you a little. Maybe I give you an entire box. I'll give you one. The rest are mine.
Hey, he's so focused right now. Does not care. Chicken nuggets are in the air.
He's laser focused. No.
What you got? Sit.
No, sit.
Sit.
I already gave you an entire box.
You want the chicken. You want
Alright,
that
shake.
chicken.
Other paw.
You want that chicken.
Other paw. Give me the other paw. Better than that. Sit. Louder. You can be louder. There you go. Here you go, boy.
You didn't say speak.
So we got 10 minutes right here to fix the tow in the Corvette, and then we lined up for our second half of that battle, which the other Corvette was not able to make. Let's pause and talk about this moment. Lewis Lons is a really fast driver. I left before the lights to get a run up, which is perfectly fine to do in the chase position. Lewis did not get on throttle right away, so I ended up being way further ahead of him than intended. This caused him to initiate pretty much into my door, and I had to swerve way down low out of the way, which threw me on a very low line, as you can see here. Now at this point, what I should have done is walked my car up to the wall, into the pocket, and resumed on his line. But everything happened so fast, and I ended up just staying on that low line and throwing off the entire rest of my run and getting a 0. Knowing that I had zeroed my chase run, I figured I probably just wanted to do a conservative lead lap so that I could prepare for the third place battle, which is what I did. Aha, but then he straightened in his chase position, giving him a 0. So we should have had a 1 more time. However, the judges would decide that lead lap versus lead lap, he would get the win. In the battle for third, I'm not really sure what was going on with the guy's car, but he initiated really low. I initiated with him into the pocket, and then he shot down to the apron below the bank, which is an unchaseable lead, so I just straightened, backed off, because I didn't want to end up in the grass. So then I watched him go 2 front tires off here, and then 2 rear tires off in outer zone 2. With the unchaseable, I was basically like, alright, he's getting a 0. I just gotta throw down a pretty good lead lap and I'll get the win, which I did. Here was the craziest thing that happened of the night was the first battle between Ryan Acevedo and Lewis Lons for first and second place. And Lewis was leading. The restart lights went off. Lewis shut it down. Ryan did not see the restart lights and initiated right into the back of Lewis. And as you can see, just launching 2 wheels off the ground onto the back and tearing up that HGK carbon body kit. Now, they were both able to get their cars fixed within the 10 minutes they had. They both had 10 minutes because it was a restart light scenario, which is awesome. They all had all hands on deck. Everyone got everything fixed. Everything was pretty badly messed up, so super impressive that they were able to finish their battles and perform the way they did. And congrats to Ryan. He got first place. Awesome to see. Lewis did a great job too. Glad they're both okay. It could have been really bad, so that's why safety's first. Then we all lined up for the podium and went around and did some victory laps. and drank some warm champagne and sprayed the rest on Dustin. It was a really good time. Shout out to all the sponsors who made it happen. Tire Stacks, Kansai, Silvers, Grip Royal, everyone who supported me, the whole team did an awesome job. Could not have done any of this without them, especially in a time frame like this. Congrats to Ryan and Lewis as well, and thanks USDrift Circuit for putting this on. And make sure you guys subscribe to Grindle Garage if you're not already. Really helps out if you subscribe and hit like. And don't forget there's merch available at grindlegarage.com as well. Got some sick t-shirts on there and some other stuff. And see you guys next time for the final round of US Drift Circuit at Sebring, end of October.